Come on.
You want to come down and hug mommy? Oh, that did it. Oh, that's so sweet. He's like, yes.
Yes.
Coming to hug mom.
Come on, sweet boy.
Oh, no, he might have just moved the phone to the other
Did
side.
you just roll over? Where are you?
Oh, my goodness.
Come hug me.
You turned the Christmas tree on? That was nice. Is he coming?
Yeah. Come on, sweetheart.
Good morning. How are you? Happy Friday.
Want to hug me?
Oh, there we go. Happy Friday.
Ooh.
So, we are making this little segment because we have a bunch of new subscribers this week. We had a couple of requests for some background, right? And so we figured, why not? It's like a Friday night conversational happy hour kind of thing over here. It's Club Savoca.
My hands are empty.
Yeah, well, I got some coffee on. So, we're going to do this segment to tell everybody a little bit about us, Nicholas, Johnny,
Perfect.
you and I.
Sounds exciting.
Yes, absolutely. So we should start with us.
What do you got?
How did we meet, Shannon? Let's start with that. Why not? Let's start right at the beginning. Where did we meet?
Pizza place. 1994.
Oh my God, you're answering this like it's a quiz.
Three.
Like, get it right.
Three.
We worked in a pizza store together.
Yeah.
And
well, I strolled down in my cheerleading uniform looking for a job.
So there's some information for you. Yes, Shannon and I
got the job.
Oh. Shannon and I met when she was a cheerleader in high school. She came in for a job at the store that I worked at. And so there you go. We've been together for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how that worked. And I remember the first moment she walked through the door. I always like to remind her of that because I do.
There you go. You make me blush.
Yeah. So.
And I still look the same, right, Ben?
Perfect. You look exactly the same. I just get scrolled down already. All right. So we met in the pizza store.
Mm-hmm.
We got married in 1998. We had a great apartment right in Amityville. We got our first dog there, Molly. She was in the video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A couple days ago, which is pretty awesome.
She was so old.
Yep. Yep. We had her for 14 years old. Sam remembered her.
15? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. The kids used to come to the apartment all the time.
Yeah. So we were there. We were in Amityville for a handful of years, which is another town right here on the South Shore of Long Island. And then we bought the house in West Bab.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Johnny. Now, let's just reverse a little bit. When we got married, we weren't into our careers at all. We were both still in college.
Right.
Right. I was at Hofstra University.
Right.
Yeah. And, working on my education degree. And my first September out of school, I landed this job in Massapequa, and I've been there ever since.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And you had already started your career in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I became an LPN right out of high school and worked at the Stony Brook University and went to college at night.
Right.
And finished in 2001.
Right.
While I was pregnant with Johnny.
Right. And so we get
so bad. Jeez. I was pregnant with Johnny.
Slowed us all down, Big John. Everyone sees the video of you, John, so we're still tired. Let's just start with
Everybody knows now.
I was a precious child. All right?
No, you were precious.
Oh, gosh.
So we get married in 1998. I finish up my education at Hofstra. I get the job in Massapequa. You're already nursing, and then you get pregnant with Johnny, and your education stopped at that point.
Right. I got my associate's degree, and that was it.
Right. Exactly. Yes, that's what happened. And that was at the house in West Bab.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have Johnny.
Yeah, which was a world.
Johnny was like, you needed a team for Johnny. I mean, he was like...
And nobody told us. Just now, we're watching all these videos of Johnny, and I'm thinking to myself...
You needed a team, man. You had to...
Dude, thank God I was so young when I had him.
You had to play zone defense against Johnny. It always had to be 2-on-1. He had a lot of energy. Right, John?
I was a great kid.
You were great. You were wonderful.
Wonderful. Sweetheart.
Oh, God. He didn't have a mean bone in his body, and he still doesn't.
But that boy couldn't sit still.
Oh, my God.
Remember, he couldn't sit still at circle time. It took him 2 years.
They had to have a team of teachers to get him on circle time.
He was like epic fail. How did he fail preschool?
Yeah.
He was a tough cookie.
We're like sitting in circles.
Circle times, yeah, they should eliminate circle time, right, Johnny?
He always had to be wiggling and moving, couldn't sit still in his seat.
Right. But anyway, not so different than your typical, family. Exactly, but with a typical child,
Sure.
some
Yeah.
sleepless nights.
Although he did have a significant speech delay, Johnny.
Yeah,
he had early intervention.
Yep, he had early intervention.
Speech.
That's true.
Yep.
Right.
I sent him to kindergarten and he couldn't say his name correctly. I was so sad. Remember?
Yeah.
I wasn't happy. I would say, "What's your name? What's your name?" We were practicing it, and he'd be like, "Johnny Aroka."
Yeah.
It was not even close.
Johnny.
He knew his name.
He knew it.
I told you where I lived when I was like 5.
That's right.
And then Nikki. And then we have Nikki.
And then we have Nick James.
We have our 2 boys.
Yeah.
We have us. We're both in our careers. Everybody's working hard. We had an entertainment company as well, so I was working on the weekends. We were very, very,
very busy.
family.
John's dad came to live with us
Right.
because he was so sick.
Right.
So he came so I could take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so much going on there.
Yeah.
So then we fast forward about 2 years. When Nicholas was first born, everything looked fine. The first few months, everything looked fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he had the speech delay. That was the number one
Right.
clue that there was a problem.
Right.
And so we get him tested.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, he's going to get speech services the same way Johnny did.
Sure.
Right, exactly.
Sure.
And how long before we had the diagnosis? It was that day, right?
Yeah, the neuropsychologist came to the house from early intervention and told me.
Right. And so at that point we were kind of like, I was just in disbelief. I didn't believe it. I felt like he was just too young to come up with that conclusion. And this guy, he was sure and he was spot on. But I was angry. I was like, give me a break. You can't tell me that you know what the future is going to hold.
Well, no, we had to process it and go through our own sessions of grief.
Well, right, but I didn't even believe that that was the case,
Yeah.
at first.
Well, we didn't know much about it. 15 years ago, we didn't have anybody in our family with autism.
Right.
It wasn't like a known diagnosis and a common factor like it is today.
Yeah.
Where the kids are in school with each other.
Nick
I'm
is
getting
loving
lots
you.
of love
Oh
right
my
now.
God.
Oh, I love it.
I don't want to talk
Happy
too
Friday.
much about it with Nick right now.
I know.
Hey, you want to go hang out with John? Okay.
Okay. That means they're going to go play video games.
In John's room.
Yeah.
So the diagnosis comes. Initially, we're in disbelief, but then as time went on, it became clear that that was the situation. So what were some of the deficits that we first noticed in addition to the
speech?
Yeah.
I would say is lack of social skills.
Yeah.
And then the biggest piece was him being so overwhelmed when we took him places.
the transition anxiety and
Just
the meltdowns.
being somewhere that was too loud for him, he would
Yeah.
just melt down and flip out.
You know what's funny though? Looking at all the baby videos that I'm posting with the vlog, it doesn't seem obvious. I mean, he interacts with whoever is talking. I mean, except for the video that I did of Johnny and Haley doing art where he was kind of just parallel playing.
Yeah.
The other ones just don't seem as obvious.
We don't have a lot of video of his meltdowns or anything, guys.
No, but you're right.
Too overwhelmed.
The parallel play was there. He did not interact with other kids.
No.
He played near other kids, but he certainly didn't engage with the other kids.
No.
That piece was clear, right?
Yeah.
And so the meltdowns were extreme for sure. The sensitivity to sound, the sensitivity to textures.
Overload was just
that was a big deal.
mind-blowing.
His hands were always on his ears. And that's something that he's kind of gotten past to a great degree. Well, he still does it. He makes that noise, and I think that's a stim.
Right.
But,
he doesn't cover his ears when we go someplace anymore.
His ears were always covered.
Always.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
In addition to that, it was the potty training. He's such a big boy, but it's only been about a year.
Well, then he stopped wetting the bed at night. But on the other hand, he potty
A little bit more than a
trained
year.
for the day time really easier than John.
He did pretty well. Yeah, he did pretty
really well.
He rarely
with
had
it.
accidents at school.
No.
But he wet the bed every night of his life until he was 14 years old.
Yeah. And he just stopped. It was
He
like
just
a switch
just
that
stopped.
just went off.
In fact, I did a video about potty training and our whole routine and all of that.
Yeah.
And it was in the dead of summer. The video, it's so hot out, you can see it. And it was that August that he just stopped. He just, I wonder if he saw the video. He does
we
watch
tried.
the vlog.
I remember we tried a lot of different things. I tried the alarm. we tried
getting up in the middle of the night.
the pad with the alarm. If it gets wet, it blares. The whole house is up. It was not easy.
No, it wasn't.
And then
easy.
we just kind of said, okay, this is what we have to deal with.
Yeah, I stopped stressing out about it. We had a really good routine with his bed and changing it and keeping it clean and keeping him clean and all of that.
Right.
And so, and then it just happened overnight, and then he just stopped. Never wet the bed again.
No.
He hasn't wet the bed again.
No.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. One of the other funny things that Nick went through too, where he was always naked. Do you remember that?
That's so common. I mean, you hear that all the time.
All the time. He would just strip.
Didn't matter where we were, just at any moment. And like we were out for a period of time.
Yeah.
And then when we came back in the house, I mean, before you could like put your wallet in the basket or whatever,
he'd be
naked.
Yeah.
He once, in the old house, we had a set of stairs. It was a Center Hall Colonial, so the stairs were right by the front door. He once ran around the stairs. By the time he made one trip around the stairs, he had no clothes on. It was like Superman going into the phone booth.
Loved it.
I was like, oh my God.
Loved it.
I guess, but it was a challenge. I mean, yes, we loved it. We looked back on it, and he was adorable, and he was beautiful.
He was cute.
But that happened in public, I mean, it was,
well,
we didn't always think it was adorable,
No.
when we're like dripping in sweat.
Running after him.
Yeah, exactly.
I
know what you're going to say. You're going to bring up Timmy Crompier?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
John has a friend who's a comedian. And
Timmy Crompier, check him out.
He's amazing. He's absolutely hysterical. So one day we're at the typical Crompier 4th of July party.
There's got
maybe 75 people there.
Huge family.
Kids everywhere. But it's so nice for John and I to be able to go to the Crompier's house because both sides of the families know Nicholas. They love Nicholas. Every kid there is so accepting of Nicholas. So John and I can kind of step back and exhale, right? So we're talking, and all of a sudden I hear, well, it's not a party until Nick James is naked.
Yeah.
And that was Tim Crompier
naked.
saying it, and he's naked in the Crompier's yard running around the pool.
And so we're like, I'm
Jetting,
like,
we're like,
no, like I'm in slow motion,
I know. And I think people laughed at us more than anything else, like our reaction. They were like, he's fine.
They were. And that's really putting a happy face on that kind of situation.
Right.
But it could be really stressful. I mean, we've,
tackled them.
Our special need parents, they know. You're leaving these parties a lot. You're grabbing your stuff. You're not saying goodbye, and you're just out of there. And so there was that as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Nicholas's education.
Sure.
So you want to start? Where you started?
Sure. So Nikki started in a special preschool that he went. He was only 2 years old. I still feel bad about that, but
they were great for him.
They were great for him.
And he loved them.
They gave us so much insight, so much education, so many sensory ideas, and how to move him past this, and how to integrate a sensory diet for him because he loved the deep pressure, he loved the smashing, he loved the scratching. Yeah. So they really, really helped us.
He had these wonderful teachers, assistants. Do you remember there were a couple of older women?
Yeah, they loved him.
They were phenomenal. I just remember going to the Meet the Teacher conference thing, and all the aides came, and I just remember Nicholas laying across one of the aides' laps, and that's told me that he loved them and that they loved him.
And she was sitting there scratching his back. I know, it was really cute. And
so
then they had some hiccups after that. Because the public school system didn't have a class for him, our home school district.
Our home school still.
So he was outsourced to basically 2 different schools that was not
right. So now it's time for kindergarten. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. We're up to kindergarten. Our home school district didn't have a program that was appropriate, and so the option was either finding a private school and pay privately, and which really we couldn't afford, and there wasn't anything that was we didn't see being better than the public school option.
Right.
And so we went to a neighboring school district, which was a train wreck. I didn't want to go too into detail, but let me just say I still can't say the teacher's name to Nicholas to this day. We'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
So we moved on to another. Now the first school district he was in was a public school with a special education component to it, and then he went to an all special ed school, which was really good for the most part.
Which was good for the first year,
right?
2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all along, you being a teacher advocated for him to be with the regular ed population. You really.
I wanted him in. Yes, I always
that-
wanted him in the regular ed building just because I knew from teaching in my school district that the special needs kids were hallway rock stars. Everybody loved them.
And that, I didn't believe that. That made me very nervous.
Oh my God, they are just so. Everybody wants to be around the special needs kids. They're the coolest kids at school. I have to tell you, they always want to say hi to the teachers. All the regular ed kids throw them high fives in the hallway,
Right.
and I just knew that was going to be a great setting for him. So we ended up leaving the special needs school because the problem, there was a lot of problems. There was an issue over the summer where there was a lack of communication. The teacher quit mid-summer.
Right.
There were some issues on the bus that never got back to us. Nicholas was doing some self-injury type behavior that was never reported to us. And we just came to a point where we didn't even feel safe sending him.
Right.
And once I came to that conclusion, I couldn't send him another day.
There was no stopping him.
That was it. That was it. It was just, I wasn't going to say, well, it might not be, or he might be okay, or whatever. So at that point, we just came to the conclusion, you're going to our home school district. You are, we're taxpayers in this district. Make a program was basically my stance. And I really kind of put it to the district and said, I'm not going to allow you to discriminate against my son because he's autistic. And that was like the jumping off point. And after a very dramatic, which this video is going to be too short to talk about, but a very dramatic first day where we just showed up. I said, ready or not, here we come, have a class for my son. And, there wasn't a class that day, but it was the beginning of a battle.
The beginning of an excellent, excellent education.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
and I wish we had done that
sooner. Yeah.
So if you feel kind of like when I see people say, well, the school says no, this one says no. Sometimes you don't take no for an answer.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. And you know what? It's always better to be kind, but sometimes you got to choose the right fight and fight, and that's what we did.
Well, I wouldn't, I guess we can say we kind of had a fight with it, but you being a teacher and your career and your person,
well, I had the
you're
toolkit.
a strong advocate.
Yeah, I had the toolkit to back up what I was saying.
I'm a patient, strong advocate. So together, we like the dynamic duo.
Yes, I like that, Shannon. So we get him into the Babylon School District, and it's fantastic. I mean, it was totally meant to be. His first teacher there was a student across the hall from my class in the school district that I teach in, right? And she was phenomenal.
Right. So that's meant to be.
So she was with her for a couple of years,
yep.
Daniela, and then he ends up with Mrs. Harrison, who we didn't find out until now. We also decided we wanted to move to the beach. And as we let the district know, Mrs. Harrison says, I live at the beach. And so now Nikki's teacher
is our neighbor
who lives 5 doors away.
Yeah.
So, that was just something
Also
that was totally meant to be.
Right.
And so, let's talk about that. This is the very fast version. It's so much. There's so much more to tell, but I just want to give people, just some background to the story.
So we were going to talk about Nikki's progress. So in the past, first of all, since March, let's talk about the explosive
2020 has been
verbalization.
A huge year for him.
Amazing.
In 2020, he has become 99% independent in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He can shower.
Yes, with verbal
coaching.
But I had a regular 15-year-old too, regular ed student too,
Who
in the
needed,
shower. Johnny, did you use soap everywhere?
That stop.
Every boy does it. There's TikToks about it. Did you see them? So can I say that to Nicholas? Nicholas, get back in there and use some soap.
He's
and
great.
I'll stand
and he
there.
can do it.
And he'll do it.
Absolutely do it.
Yeah. But
So
he's typical like la-di-da in there.
So there's the showering, there's the toileting.
Mm-hmm.
There's the dressing independently.
Mm-hmm.
This is all brand new.
And starting to do ADLs on his own, chores. Activities of daily living are so important, but you can't enforce them until your kid is ready. And I remember sitting around an IEP table, and I had a list of appropriate chores / tasks, and it was categorized by age. And Nikki must have been, he was in Babylon, so maybe he was 12. And he had the capability of a 2-year-old. And I said, what are we doing here? Somebody's got to help me with this. Because I know a little bit about it, but I can't always figure out how to teach him these things. And I don't know. I think that in
Did
between,
we let go of that? I don't want to
I let go of it a little bit
but I mean,
because
it's a great point you're bringing up.
Because I was stressed about it and I was harping on it. And then I thought to myself, he's not ready for this. So all of a sudden I wake up and I look at this big kid who's got, Ma, get me some juice. What? You know what? You watch this kid go in the refrigerator when Mom's not around, get his own juice, pour his own cereal, get a bowl, get what he needs. So it's time now. But it wasn't before, but
you bring up the great point of having that list at an IEP meeting. I think it's a little bit of a different topic. But I think that piece is the thing that gave us brought a lot more calm to the house, where we kind of stopped worrying so much about the benchmarks.
Yes.
And everything just kind of came together. I mean, I stopped worrying about the potty training and it happened. And I guess I'm not saying, hey, look, don't train, it's just going to work out. But I tell you, we stopped worrying about it for sure, And
I can tell you that I did the same thing with Johnny. Johnny would not potty train, and he was going to preschool, and he wasn't allowed to wear diapers there.
Yeah.
And I was telling the women I work with that I can't get this kid to potty train. And one of the older nurses, Marilyn, says to me, can I interrupt? You need to leave this boy alone.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're crying, your husband's crying, you're all yelling at each other, the poor kid is crying, leave him alone. He's going to go to the bathroom. He's not going to graduate high school wearing diapers. And she was right.
It does bring a lot of stress to the house.
It does.
Worrying about those benchmarks and, going through the whole idea that, you have to get all this in his IEP and you got to make sure that they're practicing it and that, and all of that, man.
Mm-hmm.
When I stopped doing all that,
right.
Obviously you have to advocate and you have to be on top of it, but when I
right.
stopped trying to micromanage everything that they were doing, I think things really started to come together.
And I think when you accept another piece to it, and I think about when I write my note in the computer and I don't sign it, next to it says a WIP, W-I-P, and it means a work in progress. And I think when we sit back and take a deep breath and realize we're all works in progress.
Yeah.
I am, you are, John is, Nikki is, and we're all going to succeed and cover what we need to do at our own space and
time. It gives you peace, for sure. And just the other piece of understanding that he's really in good hands.
Yeah.
He's with experts and people that love him. And I have no doubt about that. And that takes a lot of stress about it. All right, can I just, I know we're talking really fast, but I feel like this video is going to be longer than we can have. Can we talk, how did we end up here at the beach? We live at the beach. If you just became a viewer, we live basically 50 yards from, the inlet, which is about a half a mile from the ocean. How did we end up here, Shannon?
Well, we used to drive on the beach over there in the Jeep, and we'd sit there for hours, and it was Nick's favorite spot. He would lay in that water for hours, and John and I were like, this is amazing.
We could sit and relax.
Like, we wanted to leave before Nick did.
Because you couldn't do that at the ocean. The ocean, he'd just want to swim to China.
He'd swim away.
Yeah.
And I'm not a great swimmer, so I wasn't going.
So we found this cove where there's hundreds of yards of water that is rushing in, rushing out, because it's right at the mouth of the inlet. It's only about 1 foot deep, and it's crystal clear. And we're like, we found paradise.
Right.
And while we're sitting there, we can see these homes. Right. And we just said, what would it be like to move
to live
there?
Could you? Well, we sit there. I'm like, could you imagine living in these houses?
Yeah. And
when you actually said to me, real estate's got to be way too high for us to touch. And we sat out on the beach looking, and I was like, it's not really that bad.
So we get on our phone, we start looking at houses, we drive over here, and we run into our good friend Mary Ann, who's a realtor, and she lives here as well.
Right.
And she says, can I help you? Because we kind of walk behind the gated part of this community. We're not in the gated community, but there's one very close by.
Use a cup, handsome.
And I said to her, well, we were interested in looking for a house. She says, well, let me take you around.
Get in the car.
And that started a 2-year quest to find a house over here. We had put several offers in, and that's how we ended up here.
It's awesome. It's the best decision
The
ever.
best decision of all time. It's just beautiful here. And I know that the beach is featured in, almost every single video.
I
but
know. And if you're not a beach person, I understand. But if you
Yeah.
are, it's good for you.
And Shannon's a beach person for sure, and I am too. But maybe you a
Love
little
it.
bit more than me.
Yeah.
All right, so just to come up with a few more things about Shannon and I came up with some questions. They're in this bowl. We're gonna pick a question out and then answer for the other person. You go first.
Shouldn't be able to see them.
Let us grab. Just don't look.
Okay. Favorite things to do.
So you have to say what my favorite things to do are.
Make pizza.
Yeah, there's one.
Work out.
I love that too.
And that's kind of exercise is a big part of you.
Yeah, I guess so. I like to hang out with you too, Shannon. It's really that's high on the list. I love to cook. Yes, of course. I love to work out. I love hanging out with you guys, right? I
Yeah.
love hanging out at the beach. That's a big deal for us as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
That's it? I don't know. I played some music at some point.
Oh my gosh, that's right. You like to sing
God.
and play the guitar. I
Crazy.
failed. That was an epic
That's okay.
fail.
All right, so I'm going to do yours.
I'm going to get divorced.
That wasn't terrible. I don't know if you saw the TikTok. My wife just told me she wants a divorce. For 20 years. All right, Shannon's favorite things to do. Shannon's favorite. She loves to cook, for sure. Shannon loves to go to the beach. Shannon loves to hang around the house with the boys. Shannon loves to have company, right? Shannon doesn't love to go out all the time. Shannon likes to socialize with a very small group. Tight, close-knit. Shannon loves the Grateful Dead, for sure, right? Shannon loves for me to cook for her.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
She loves to go kayaking. All things beach.
Yes.
That's Shannon's stuff. All
That's
right.
me.
My turn.
Okay.
All right.
Happy noises.
Things that stress me out. Things that stress Shannon out. So I wrote the questions, and I know what the answer to this one is. Shannon's number one stress is probably me. I hate to admit it, but I think that's the case. I think sometimes I have a lot of power. Like when we're spread really thin and we're going in a whole bunch of directions, and all of a sudden, I start to get like a little jittery. That just kind of spreads to you. I don't know if it's a bit. I don't know if it's her biggest stress, but it's definitely.
I wasn't going to say that. I would say the biggest thing that stresses me out.
No, can I finish? I just
Okay,
started.
go. Sorry.
I guess
there's
it's
more than
because
one?
I guess it's because I feel guilty if I feel like I have made you feel stressed because I'm not handling something perfectly.
Right.
The biggest things that stress Shannon out, I think, work can be a challenge for sure, right? I don't know. What else? We don't... Tell me. Is there more?
I was just going to say the cesspool.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, the
I
cesspool.
hate the cesspool.
Cesspool's an issue with the beach. The water coming up, it's... A lot of
Something to get
water
used to
builds
over
up
here.
around here at the beach. All right. Things that stress me out. Go.
I would say the first thing is, I don't want to say me, but sometimes I would say to you while we're in the middle of a project, okay, and let's do blah, 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 blah. So I'll kind of keep piling
Yes, you
on the things, and that
That's
gets
true.
me stressed out.
Like if I'm working on one thing and I'm like super focused on, she's like, well, we need to do this,
and let's go
and
do this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like,
I'm a single tasker.
Yeah.
I know the ladies are better at the multitasking. Single tasking is my thing. All right, great.
Anything else that stresses you
Yeah,
out? I would say school is tough this year
School,
with the
yes.
fluidness of where you're working, where you're not working. Are you
Absolutely.
in person, online?
I mean, I'm not all that different from everybody. Every now and then I have some work-related anxiety on Sunday night, worrying about if I'm prepared enough and all of that jazz.
But I think right now both our careers are kind of stressful because of the pandemic.
I have to be honest with you, I don't worry about COVID. I don't stress over COVID.
No, me neither. How are we getting it? I'm not going anywhere.
You're not. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Things that I love.
So you got to
Things
that's no. So you got to talk to me. What are the
Alright.
things that I love? So these are things.
Things
Mhm.
that you love.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza.
Yup.
Me.
Very much.
The kids. The family.
Mm-hmm.
The dogs. Really any kind of animal. You know, John won't kill or even a spider.
Nope. Put them right out the back door.
All right. John loves music. Live music, preferably.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He
Shannon.
loves going out to eat.
Oh my God, so much. I go out to lunch every day by myself. It's like the most peaceful. I get pasta fagioli at my new favorite restaurant, Giovanni's.
In Massapequa?
I sit by myself. They wait on me like I'm a king. I love them. Yes.
You should
I
show
do.
a picture of that. It's not just a little bowl. It's a giant bowl.
Oh, I sent Shannon a picture
and
every
a
day.
half
It's
a
beautiful.
loaf of bread. It's not like it's...
It's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the things that I love?
Shannon loves Christmas. She loves Christmas. She loves all things Christmas, for sure. Right? She loves our house.
Yeah.
She loves to buy things for the house. Not that you're a shop. Don't take that the wrong way. But she likes things. You know, pretty things. Decorations and things of that nature. Right?
Yeah.
Totally. Shannon loves jewelry.
Mm-hmm. Anything sparkly.
Yep, sparkly things.
Sparklier the better. The bigger the better.
Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna have to wrap this up now,
All right,
Shannon.
no.
There's more. I know there's more. Do you
Come
want to
on,
play?
quick.
All right,
Yes.
we did the things that stress me out. All right, keep going. All right, last one. This is getting really long.
How about...
Oh, that's a good one. What's that? Oh, let me just ask you this one. How many times a day do I tell somebody that I love them?
You?
Well, I'm gonna answer for you.
Okay, answer for me first.
I would say 10. How about you?
I'm going to say 5 to 10 for you.
5 to 10?
Yeah.
I probably say 5 to 10 times on every video, Shan.
Oh,
I probably say I love you to somebody in this house 25 times a day. That's probably why I'm not stressed most of the time. Everybody love everybody.
that's right. Things I hate.
Things I hate.
I hate car trouble.
I don't have a lot of hate. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let me think. I hate being overwhelmed. I hate feeling spread too thin. I think it's a lot of like emotional things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the cesspool. I can
I
deal with
hate
the
the
cesspool.
cesspool.
We're going to get the cesspool fixed, but
There's
I got
nothing we
no
can do. You gotta have a cesspool over here. There's no sewers. I have to get used to it. I have to just deal with it.
all right, last question because we got to move on. Dreams for the future. I'll start for you. Shannon's dreams for the future. She wants us all healthy. She wants us all together.
Yes.
I can't even fathom the day that Johnny ever leaves us. I want him to stay here forever, right? She
He's
wants
not
to.
leaving.
No. She wants to stay here at the beach forever.
I really do.
I know I have one. I think I know. She wants to be somebody very big in the medical field.
I do.
Yeah.
I have a lot of career goals.
She wants our boys to be strong and in control of their lives and contributors.
And to marry somebody really nice.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be nice to me, not mean.
What are my dreams for the future?
Your dreams for the future are probably to have. You worry more about finances, so I'm gonna say financial freedom. I'm gonna say for all of us to be together. In some place beautiful. I don't really think you mind if you're not at the beach. You don't mind being up in the mountains or somewhere.
A little bit of time. I love being here. I wish we came. I mean, I love it here.
And your biggest dream, I think, is, I would say, to, of course, start a business with Nicholas.
Yeah.
And the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big piece. And if you haven't read that in the description, that is a huge piece of what NickyTV is. When he turns 21, he ages out of his school program. And at that point, I'm going to retire from teaching. And we are going to start a company that's going to not only employ Nicholas, but many people with special needs. And we're really modeling this whole idea after companies like John's Crazy Socks, the Rising Tides Car Wash. And that's what I want to do. I want to go to a building where we work and the dogs can come too. And, and just have it this place where work is kind of reimagined, where, kids feel important and can contribute and all that jazz, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we started this a little bit too with the DJ company, but you know, with COVID. I mentioned earlier that, you know, we've run a DJ company for, you know, over 20 years, and Johnny started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our mission there is to also bring on people with special needs, but that's going to be, you know, the big focus when, you know, as Nicholas closes in on his 21st birthday.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yep. All right, I hope that we covered a lot of bases. This is really long.
We did.
I hope you hung around with us. Thank you so much. If you did, I hope everybody has a great Friday night. God bless you. We love you. We'll see you next time.